Friday motivation. You are not behind. There's a pressure many women live under that they rarely talk about. It's not loud, it doesn't scream, and it doesn't announce itself dramatically. It hums quietly in the background of everyday life. It sounds like, I should be further along by now. I thought I'd feel more confident at this age. I've done so much work, why do I still feel like this? And the thing is, this pressure doesn't come from failure. It comes from compassion. From timelines we didn't consciously choose, from expectations absorbed over years without question. Somewhere along the way, we were taught that growth should look linear, that effort should always produce visible results, that if we revisit the same struggles, it must mean we didn't learn the lesson properly the first time. But that isn't how real change works. Real growth happens in layers. You don't just fix something and then move on forever. You circle back again and again, each time with more awareness, more nervous system capacity, more honesty. That doesn't mean you're stuck. It means you're deepening. Sometimes progress looks like momentum. Other times it looks like restlessness. And sometimes it looks like standing still long enough to hear what you've been avoiding. If life has felt slower lately, if your body has been asking for patience, if you felt frustrated that things aren't moving as quickly as you think they should, pause here for a moment. What if nothing has gone wrong? What if this season isn't meant to produce more output, but more alignment? We live in a culture that glorifies speed, but safety doesn't grow in speed. Trust doesn't grow in urgency, and confidence doesn't grow under pressure. They grow when you stop abandoning yourself. They grow when you listen instead of override, when you respond instead of react, when you allow your life to unfold instead of forcing it to comply with an imagined deadline. And here's the part that often gets missed. When things slow down, the mind tends to panic. It starts looking for something to fix, something to optimize, something to blame. But the body doesn't speak in urgency. It speaks in sensation, in fatigue, tension, resistance, and sometimes in the need to stop and reassess. Slowness is not the same as stagnation, and stillness is not the same as failure. Sometimes the most productive thing you can do is pause long enough to feel what you've been overriding. Because when you've spent years pushing through, pushing past signals, pushing past exhaustion, pushing past your own intuition, your system eventually asks for something different. Not more effort, but more honesty. This is often the phase where old strategies stop working. The ones that relied on pressure, willpower, or self-criticism. And that can feel unsettling, because those strategies might have once worked, even if they came at a cost. But outgrowing a strategy doesn't mean you're failing, it means you're evolving. It means your body and nervous system are asking for a new way of relating to yourself, one based on cooperation instead of control. And that request isn't a setback, it's an invitation. An invitation to build trust instead of tension, to choose responsiveness over reactivity, to let your next phase be guided by awareness and not urgency. So if you've been judging yourself lately, if you've been silently comparing your inside to someone else's outside, let this be the reminder. You're not behind, you're not late, and you've not missed your window. You're exactly where you need to be to learn what comes next. And when the time is right, not forced, not rushed, movement will return. Not because you pushed harder, but because you finally moved in the right direction.